welcome to Learning isiXhosa with Sonwa, LIWiS. This is our 11th episode of Learning isiXhosa using the novel In Search of Happiness, set in South Africa. Now, in the previous episodes, before I tell you about the previous episodes and what you from Blank Studios, check them out on Instagram. It's hashtag blank studio, hashtag blank_studios_. Check them out on Instagram and online. And thank you so much to Blank for partnering with us this way by allowing us to use your wonderful space. Now, the book In Search of Happiness is a fictional story. I mentioned it is set in South Africa. What we've done in the previous episodes is that we took parts of the blurb and we translated phrases, we translated parts, or we translated sentences in each of those episodes. So today we want to read the full blurb together in isiXhosa, read it in English, but before we get to the English part, pause after me reading the Xhosa part, and maybe as you are listening, just see how much of it is recognizable, how much are you remembering from the previous episodes. Would you be able to listen to this blurb now and know what 80% of it, 90% of it, 50% of it, any percentage? We are learning. Now, if it's below a certain percentage, my suggestion is that you go back to the earlier episodes and you look at those episodes and learn those sentences as well. That's how I would recommend using this particular episode in conjunction with other episodes to improve on what you've learned so far. Now, I'm going to read the full blurb in isiXhosa. It goes as follows. Unana uneminyaka elishumi elinesihlanu xa ehamba kwilali yakhe eMpuma Koloni esiya edolophini. Uvuyiswa kukubonana nosapho lwakhe, nokuba luhlala kwityotyombe elincinci. Kodwa uyasokola ukungena kwisikolo sakhe esitsha, kwaye wothukile bubundlobongela obubonakaliswa kuChino noAgnes, abamelwane bakhe baseZimbabwe. Xa yena noAgnes besiba ngabahlobo abasenyongweni, kwaye befumana uthando kwiindawo ebebengazilindelanga, unana uzifundela ngokwakhe ukuba ngamanye amaxesha bunenkohlakalo kangakanani na ukungazi, nokuba kunzima kangakanani na ukubambelela kulonwabo. Do you remember that? That's the Xhosa version of the blurb, which is in English. Nana is 15 when she travels from her village in the Eastern Cape to the city. She is overjoyed to be reunited with her family, even if they are living in a tiny shack. But she struggles to fit in at her new school, and she is shocked at the violence shown to Chino and Agnes, her Zimbabwean neighbors. When she and Agnes become close friends and find love in unexpected places, Nana learns firsthand just how brutal ignorance can be and how hard it is to hold on to happiness. Now, this is a fictional story. It does not in any way promote violence. We are trying to find solutions for our character Nana, things that happen around us. Some of them are very positive, which is encouraging, but some of them are not very positive. So we're trying to find a solution for those things. Now allow me to read. Let me read again in isiXhosa. Unana uneminyaka elishumi elinesihlanu xa ehamba kwilali yakhe eMpuma Koloni esiya edolophini. Uvuyiswa kukubonana, uyavuya kakhulu ukubona usapho lwakhe, nokuba luhlala kwityotyombe elincinane. Kodwa uyasokola ukungena kwisikolo sakhe esitsha, kwaye wothukile bubundlobongela obuboniswe kuChino noAgnes, abamelwane bakhe baseZimbabwe. Xa yena noAgnes besiba ngabahlobo abasenyongweni, kwaye befumana uthando kwiindawo ebebengazilindelanga. Unana uzifundele ngokwakhe ukuba ngamanye amaxesha bunenkohlakalo kangakanani na ukungazi, nokuba kunzima kangakanani na ukubambelela ulonwabo, to hold on to happiness. And I guess possibly I don't want to generalize, but like human nature to look for something comfortable, to look for happiness, something that's not, pain is something that the body does not want, I certainly don't want pain, so I look for happiness. With an appreciation and understanding that sometimes are challenging, and pain can be part of this journey of life, but at all times we try to get to a state of happiness or of some sort of equilibrium in life, if I can use that word. So, In Search of Happiness, fictional story set in South Africa that speaks to a time. Now, these fictional stories, when you look at them 200 years from now, I mean, I saw an advert that said the person who will live until the 200 years old has already been born, and the way things are moving, these great developments that are being made in science and in various other fields that can be expected. So I'm thinking in 200 years time, when we look at fiction today, hopefully it will be fiction that tries to balance what was happening, that tries to answer difficult questions that we have, that we're grappling with in these times, fiction that does sort of tries to answer that. And one of the things that we are seeing here now is that there are people who come from a different country and come and become neighbors in a neighboring country, and become neighbors in the true sense of neighbors, that like the house next door. And we've seen in South Africa instances where people I want to be careful in how I go into this, because if I speak again about the 200 years time from now, we don't want to hold one narrative to say that people from other countries were treated badly in South Africa. That is not the true case 100%. No. We've lived side by side with people from other parts of South Africa, and there were no issues. But there was a time in 2008, I think, where there were some uprisings. So this novel sort of pulls also from those times to narrate this story. But stay with us and see also what happens in this novel and how Agnes tries to understand this world around her. Unana uneminyaka eli-15 xa ehamba kwilali yakhe eMpuma Koloni esiya edolophini. Uvuyiswa uyavuya kakhulu ukubonana nosapho lwakhe, nokuba luhlala kwityotyombe elincinane. Kodwa uyasokola ukungena kwisikolo sakhe esitsha, kwaye wothukile bubundlobongela obubonakaliswe kuChino noAgnes, abamelwane bakhe baseZimbabwe. Xa yena noAgnes besiba ngabahlobo abasenyongweni, kwaye befumana uthando kwiindawo ebebengazilindelanga, unana uzifundela ngokwakhe ukuba ngamanye amaxesha bunenkohlakalo kangakanani na ukungazi, nokuba kunzima kangakanani ukubambelela kulonwabo. So that's the full blurb of this book, and it gives you an idea of what to expect in the book, and hopefully makes you ask questions as to what will be contained in this book exactly. This has been Learning with Sonwa, LIWiS, episode 11, coming to you from #blank_studios_. Check them out on Instagram. And thanks for watching, and please do practice. Until next time, bye-bye.